As a mayor of the city of Karaganda, I would like to welcome you from all the people of Karaganda, and you all know that we are not only the capital of mining, but it was the city where spacecraft landed. We have Valentina Tereshkova Street. Right now, we have Yuri Gagarin Square, named in honor of Yuri Gagarin, the first person in space. And today, to mark such a great event, we would like to open a big commemorative complex to mark this event. Maybe there are some delays, but in general, I think that first of all, we have to welcome all of you, the crew that we're seeing here right now.
Спасибо. Это сувениры на память о пребывании в Караганде. Спасибо большое.
Разрешите представить слово
I would like to give the floor to the representatives of the rescue team. On behalf of the rescue team management, we would like to welcome the crew and to thank you for your hospitality.
Можете открыть. Вот этой книги 50 лет Юрию Алексеевичу Гагарину полет.
And this book, devoted to the 50th anniversary of Gagarin's first flight, and on behalf of the director of the chocolate factory of Karaganda, I would like to give these chocolate candies to you, made specifically for your mission. Last time when you were here at the Cosmodrome, we promised you that, and here it is. Dear colleagues, also taking into consideration the state and health of our cosmonauts, we have 5 minutes for questions and answers. I can say that the wishes and dreams of my friends and colleagues and those interested in space came true. The landing was nominal, the weather was great, there was almost no wind, and everything went very well without any off-nominal situations. That is why I would like to thank you for such a great spacecraft that helped us, and we would like to say thank you to Kazakhstan because it greeted us with great weather and you ensured great landing for us. So thank you all. I'd like to say thank you to all people of Kazakhstan.
The shuttle has served us well for many, many years. our job as astronauts and cosmonauts is to be part of a team that explores the universe. And right now, that is living on the space station and planning for future travel to the moon and to Mars. We need new vehicles, and it's hard to do new and old at the same time. And so it's time for the shuttle to retire so that we can go further. Already we have a very great base in low Earth orbit.
What can you say about your departure from Kazakhstan?
One part of our job as astronauts is to be prepared for every situation. And we prepare for ascent, for orbit, and for landing, even when they do not go as expected. And upon landing, there's lots of different ways that we feel, sometimes better, sometimes worse, and sometimes best to take it a little bit easy so that you can have a good recovery. So I wouldn't call this at all off-nominal. It's part of spaceflight, and it's wonderful that we have lots of different experiences.
We are all interested what you did on board the space station, and what about flies? What experiments did you run? Well, of course, we have the results of these experiments, and I'm sure they'll be published by the media. Thank you.
Okay, so you just landed just a few hours ago. How are you feeling?
You know, I feel great. A little bit wobbly. I think I'm going to walk straight, and it turns out I'm not, and it's good that there's somebody on each side since I'm usually going one way or the other.
Now, you've flown on shuttle before, but this is your first time on Soyuz, so can you kind of compare the landing experience on shuttle versus what you just did today?
You know, it comes down to the difference in being on just a larger craft versus a smaller one, and actually where you sit. You know, on the shuttle, I was on the flight deck for entry. I think on both my flights. Actually, on one of my flights and the other one not. But you don't have much access to a window. Whereas in the Soyuz, there's the three of us, and we are shoulder to shoulder, you know, basically, you know, completely touching each other. And then right at my right shoulder is a window. And I just loved, actually, for the whole landing process, being able to look out that window and almost say a little goodbye to the Earth and to that view, that vantage point that's so special that we have on orbit. And it was neat just to see a sunset, or just as we were, actually a sunrise, as we were landing. And so the end part is pretty different. I flew with Eileen Collins, and we land in the shuttle, those two back wheels touch down, and then we start to put the nose gear down. And she went to go put the nose gear down, and I was almost out of my seat thinking, but we haven't landed yet, because it was so smooth. I wouldn't say this is a very smooth landing, and it's interesting to watch the altimeter and realize that it's going to come any second, and then it's just a really good solid thunk, and I think we bounced once or twice, but we have seats that conform to the shape of us sitting in the capsule, and it was fine.
You guys had an incredibly busy time up on station while you were up there. I mean, you had HTV, ATV, multiple shuttles, multiple progresses. Whenever you look back on it, what do you think you're going to remember the most? What's the one thing that you'll remember, if there is one thing?
You know, those supply ships and the shuttle, I mean, that's part of what we do on the space station. We need those supplies to make sure the space station is in a position to be able to do experiments, you know, throughout the next bunch of years. And we also need those supply ships to leave and take our trash and our packing material that we don't need anymore. And when the shuttle comes, they are doing something usually significant to put the station in a better position to be the base that we want it to be for our future exploration. And that's all work. What I'll remember the busyness of that, and I'll remember just really being pleased to be part of the team that accomplished those things. But living up there, just day to day, just every time you move from place to place, that it feels so different and so special as compared to being back here on Earth. Just the we call it floating, but I call it flying. You know, and everybody, I think, down here on the earth wants to fly. And I got to live in a place for almost 6 months where I got to fly every minute of every day. And when those everyday actions remind you that you are in a magical place. So that's what I'll remember.
Well, it's good to have you back. I know you're looking forward to getting back to the U.S., so.
I'm looking forward to being home. I'm not sure where home is, and then I'm a commuting person. You know, I'm a commuting marriage, and my husband is flying to Texas tomorrow to meet me when I land in Texas as well. So I'll be in Texas, although Massachusetts is a little bit more my home, and I'm looking forward to seeing both my boys, my husband and my 10-year-old.
Mr. Deputy Chairman of the State Commission, the Expedition 27 has been completed successfully. Expedition Commander Kondrativ. We're very glad to greet you here and welcome you here. Thank you. Thank you. Glad to see you. Hug your wife. That's the most important. I'm here. I love you. You're here. Let's go back.